My name is Pham. It's really good to be here on this conference. And I'm Vietnamese American, meaning I was born in Vietnam and immigrated to the United States when I was 16. So basically, culture has been very much part of my identity. And being in the mixed cultures, intercultural is part of life. On this conference, I present on the discernment in the mixed culture or intercultural context. And one of the things I think we often find difficulties and challenges in this type of discernment in this mixed culture is how to bring people together and then to work in such a way that people will move in the same rhythm and then perhaps to reach at the end and the common consensus or like to enter into a good, deep sense of communion. So my notice is one of the things is, when we talk about discernment in mixed culture or any in that context, creating space is very important. How do we create space? And especially for the mixed cultures, so they can see all the culture are represented and all the cultures are value and reverence. So creating the preparation for the space, I think preparing for the place to meet, I think is important. And then decoration, that's where the symbol of each culture are represented, essentials. So people basically feel welcome and they part of, they belong. And then the next thing is, I think prayer play a very important role because people come discern. This means, first of all, is to pray together. And how is prayer in a different tradition, different cultural context with, the symbol are there, are seen and taken turn. So preparation step, I think is important, and then remember to bring people there to pray. For the facilitator in the mixed cultures, I think he or she, in my own experience, had to have done with a lot of, the internal working with their own intercultural identity. For myself, for example, would be how to come to, become comfortable and to see being Vietnamese American is a grace and a blessing, and able to share with the group the grace, the struggle, basically to be vulnerable, and people would trust you. I think genuine and vulnerability to create, intimacy, and I think a trust in the group. Yeah, so given a lot of, mixed cultures, I think it's important at the start to see, not look at mixed culture from our own perspective, but perspective of God. How God looked down in the cultures and God see it is beautiful and it is good. So that's the most key, to look from the perspective of God, and in this case, the whole Trinity. And then how to build the center in terms of common value, like common deep sense of value, what gathers us here. So for example, in the Christian context, that would be the person of Jesus Christ. So to build, around that anchor. The second stage would be, how do we, or what the purpose that's draw us here, so that this whole mixed culture is not drawn to ourselves, but after we do this, we've been sent, we've been moving out of ourselves. So the apostolic dimensions of it. So when you have the anchor, when you have the apostolic, the purpose laid out, and from that we can develop a sense of, we'll come to the consensus in terms of intellectual, ideas, or talk about, term of rationality. So we build a consensus around the intellectual language. And then along with that, I think, for example, we're in the whole Ignatian family, so we share or build a consensus in the spiritual language. So for example, when the word discernment, what is, it's important that we can also explain, and each culture or each person come and they take from the angle of their cultural angle and see how to understand this term. So you can think about those four dimensions, right? Number one is the anchor. Number two is moving out. We're here for purpose, apostolic, rather than for ourselves. And then we build in terms of spiritual and intellectual language. And the last thing would be a lot of conversation. Right? Try to enjoy each other, and then it's gonna take It's not gonna take one, but I think it's a whole process, and people kind of come together. And I can promise you and guarantee you, it's a very joyful process if you open to receive, and you will be surprised. You have to open to surprise, and sometimes it could be very difficult. And I think we just have to laugh at it. I mean, just let's get sense of humor. I think it's good. For example, when I was teaching, I was at the Jesuit School of Theology in Berkeley of Santa Clara University. And I mean, in my class, and then we were doing the telling each other story, and then students come from a very different cultures and religious tradition. So my class, I mean, I still remember, and they gave me permission to share about this experience. One woman from deep south in the U.S., and one is the minister from Korea, and this woman is a deep, both of them are very deep, sense of like spiritual. One is from the Baptist tradition, and the other one is from the Assembly of God. And I remember we were talking about Jesus Christ as our anchor, and then this woman was telling me, it's like, growing up as I don't know how to say this. I mean, should I say this? I mean, she's a lesbian, she's a homosexual. And she said, ever since I grow up, and my parents or my congregation, if I don't change, or, like Jesus will send me to hell. And on the other hand, the minister from Korea said, if you don't pronounce Jesus Christ my personal Savior, then you're not, going to heaven, or you're going to go to hell. So in that mixed culture and, very diverse sense of theological understanding, how do we bring people to the consensus? So basically what I was doing is just like to let them both listen and very respectful and reverent each other's story, and to share their narrative, to kind of come together to share their upbringing and how they come to be here. And then amazing thing happened when they come to share and listen to each other's story. And then at the end of that whole session, which is about 14 weeks that we did, and then they shared again in common, they said, now I understand where you're coming from. And I think think about it, take a 14 class period like that. So I think there's a lot of patience, a lot of more, suspends our judgment, but able to engage and listen to each other's stories in this case.